Morning. It is a beautiful day here in Wisconsin. Zone 5, it's about 70 degrees and a slight breeze. Just gorgeous. I'm going to walk you through the yard. So grab a cup of tea or something because I've been known to have lengthy videos. I'm Lark. And this is my garden. I'm showing you the front of the house because I wanted to show you that I'm growing some edibles around this flagpole. The one is amaranth, and I do use the young leaves for eating in my salads. And then I also have nasturtiums. This one here happens to be Emperor of India, I think, and it gets a really orange flower, red orange. I also have black pearls, pepper, and that'll get a blacker foliage and little black peppers on it. Now I do leave the amaranth come up really thick in here, but I keep pulling it for my greens. Then I leave a few get huge because that red's going to look pretty as a decorative plant in the planter. I have creeping Jenny here. This is golden creeping Jenny, and it stays in bounds in here because it can go crazy if you put it in your garden. Calendula is another plant I have in here. So I have a theme of orange going on, orange and burgundy and different shades of green. And then I also have a sage for a blue that should look pretty with the orange. The sage is, I think, Victoria. Some spireas, gold flame, look nice all season long, spring to fall. And then catmint and Diablo, 9-bark. We use a lot of catmint, a lot of Diablos for the burgundy color. That's a Crimson King, a young maple. You can see my veggie garden a little over in the right-hand corner up above. But we're going to go back into the perennial flower bed today. That's a sand cherry. I do grow a few succulents. If you saw some of my other videos in the house in the south windows, then I put them out here in partial shade. I have no idea the names of most of these. I just know I like them. String of Pearls is one. And then Burrow's Tail. Really trying to fill this in. All the little babies. Petals that fall off will form another plant. And then aloe, just because I use it on my skin all the time. I did put on this ugly rose bush, this is a William Baffin that really died back, but I left it up because I'm using it for the scarlet runner bean to trellis on. And I have about 3 scarlet runner beans in here. I'm hoping the orange will look pretty and kind of coordinate with nasturtiums that are around the flagpole, and I have marigolds around the front sidewalk path. I use a lot of corabels too because of this one's Purple Palace, because of the foliage color. And spiderwort. This is a cemented in area, so I let it go crazy up here. My bicycle, I have planted nasturtiums again, and the blue salvia. And then there's a plant in here, I think it's a type of irisine, and it gets burgundy and very aggressive. So those are little cuttings I took too late in the season, but they'll fill in very soon. And that's a autumn blooming clematis. Let's see, Sweet Autumn. This is one of the few plants I bought this year. Everything else I start from seed. Corydalis, a nice aggressive plant. Shade to part sun. It just seeded in there. And so did the great blue lobelia and a gloriosa daisy. And that is a basket of gold alyssum that blooms first thing in spring. So it gives me a little color as you walk through this gate. As you can see, I let the corydalis reseed, the yellow, reseed quite a bit. Easy to pull, but I let it seed in there. Very drought tolerant. I use the honeysuckle vine here because of the fragrance coming through the gate. But I do have it sunk in a pot so it doesn't spread like crazy. You who watch my channel before know that I like garden art. This here is made out of an turtle is made out of an old army helmet. Isn't that cool? And some hypertopha things I did some years ago. A lot of potentillas, and the Japanese beetles love them. I've been squishing Japanese beetles. Now in my window planters, I used small cuttings of my own sweet potato vine that I wintered. This is a Nicotiana for fragrance, and then some orange marigolds. And then I put in a scarlet runner bean in here because I want it to hang down with the orange flowers. And again, nasturtiums. So when I do an annual, I usually carry it out throughout the landscape someplace. Plus, what I do is free, pretty much free. I save the seeds. But here in Wisconsin, our boxes don't start looking good till end of July. That doesn't give us a very long season of blooms. That's why I do a lot of perennials. Cannas, free. I save the rut or the rhizome. This here is one of my favorite Buenos Aires. Oh, what is that? Verbena Buenos Aires. Love it. It should be very wispy and tall, and then with the purple and the orange. I hope you guys aren't getting too bored here. And the Nicotiana, I believe, is fragrant, and that's why I used it. A must-have in the garden, any cottage garden, is rose campion. Now I want to show you a trick. I'm going to see if I can show you a trick I use in the garden. I have a dead branch here off the pine tree, and I stuck it in the ground because this rose campion was flopping over the edge of the garden, and he was hitting it with his lawnmower. So I push it in the ground and prop up plants, and it almost doesn't show when you're looking at the garden, but I call that twigging. And I'll do that in my container that I just showed you too with the Verbena Buenos Aires, so it does not blow all over and bend. I'll be putting some twigs in there. Feverfew. Lots of spiderwort coming up here and there and everywhere. I'll probably be doing garden walks like this every 2 weeks, so you can see some of the new things that are blooming. But with perennial growing, you have to use come agains, which is rose campion and this poppy here, that'll reseed themselves. And if they reseed themselves a lot, just pull out what you don't want. Daylilies should be starting to bloom very soon. Bee balm in some parts of the garden. This part is sunnier, so it is starting to bloom. There's one group of bee balm that is over by my veggie garden that gets more shade. It'll bloom later. And that's kind of nice for the birds and the butterflies, because then it gives them a longer bloom time for getting their nectar. This is called a likeness. It's a small clump right here, but I'll show it to you in a larger clump. It's really a pretty orange. And that is exactly, can you see that crummy, what do you call it, cucumber beetle? It's distorting my leaves. That's a pepper plant. Oh well. A type of lamb's ear, I forget the name of it. And this here, I put in some Blue Lake bush beans, just a couple. I had some seedlings left over. And it's turning out that it is a runner, or a pole bean. So I might not keep it there. Linum, a big clump of linum. And it's really setting a lot of seed now. And I will not save the seed. I buy that. Because you have to have so much. I go through so much. I'm not about to save. I don't have tons of linum. What I will do is cut it back, and it'll possibly rebloom. This is a type of delphinium, and I'm not good with delphiniums. I only have about 2 clumps of them. This is called Blue Mirror, I think. Just starting to open. And you know how I like blue. Coreopsis tick seed. Oh, I see a daylily opening. That's early. I have a tomato on this makeshift obelisk, and the cucumber beetles are attacking it in there too, and I'm hoping it corrects itself, but we'll see. Oh, a bumblebee. Don't see too many bumblebees around, but there are some. I don't know the names of my daylilies. I picked them up, or they were given to me because I liked them, and I didn't keep track of the names. Sorry for the chainsaw, but I waited too long to take this video. I think it's about 10 o'clock in the morning. Lady's mantle in full bloom. Any of you who want a wonderful ground cover, this is it. And when it starts to look ratty and brown, going to seed, you can cut this one down to the ground, and in the rosette at the bottom of the plant, you'll see new growth coming. And if you cut it down to the ground, it'll all fill in again. It'll take about 2 weeks. The white astilbe is almost done, but I keep those plumes on. I like the feathery look. And the pink is just starting. The crane's bill, I will be cutting back because I don't want it reseeding all over. Just cutting it back will drop a lot of seeds, so because I'm a little late in cutting it back. And the pink astilbe. and mullein. Even though the cucumber beetles have devoured it, I like the structure for a while, so I'll leave it up. A newer hosta bed. Years ago, I used to always take the flowers off my hostas. And as the years have gone by, I leave the flowers up. I don't take the time to take them off right now. Too time consuming. The red astilbe are starting to bloom. So this red astilbe, my designing of my cottage garden somewhat, this red astilbe will look good with the berries of the baneberry, giving this shaded area a little color, or a little more dabs of color. Now there's oh, what is this one called? Oh, I forget the name of it. Maybe I'll think of it later, but it's a shade plant, and it's aggressive. And I like the color of the leaf. Now, a lot of babies are coming up. Can you see one there? Well, not a lot, but I spread the seed, and they reseeded a little. I don't think badly. Those are blue angels, the big ones. And then in back there, which the deer have eaten a few of them, or at least tasted them, are some in substance. Some more Johnson's blue. Nope, that's not Johnson's blue. I don't know which one that is. That is a crane's bill though. Now, this is fleabane, and I like it for its height and adding white to the garden, but I will be cutting that back so it doesn't reseed all over. It will drop some seed on the way, so I'll get plenty of plants next year just from me cutting it down. I pulled out most of the, I think this is an oxeye daisy, most of them. And in this spot here, I wanted to go to seed more, so I left one. A type of allium, I'll probably show you in a couple weeks, will look good. It's a burgundy, little drumstick one. Blue Chips Campanula is just starting to bloom, and it's quite aggressive, but I'm going to be cutting down this crane's bill today. It's right next to it, so in this spot I'll still have blue, having blue chips there, and this will come back again. The cranesbill and bloom again. Still here and there is the hawkweed. You saw it in my last video. I let it go to seed and it'll rebloom most of the summer, just here and there. And next year there'll probably be quite a few plants. Clustered bellflower. Very aggressive, you guys, but pretty. I not only cut that down, but I pull out the plant also. I leave a clump. Usually I measure like 2 of my hand sizes, and that's all I keep. This allium is very aggressive too. It's an onion, of course, and that's all little seeds, so I'll be cutting that back. I'm cutting it off and not even composting. It'll get put in my wild area. Now the likeness I was talking about before, which is in the Maltese cross family, is only about 18 inches to 2 feet high. Isn't that an intense orange red? So pretty. And when that's done, right next to it, I have our native butterfly weed. So that orange will be in this spot for a while. Now I cut my chives back already to the ground, and they're back again. Now they won't rebloom, but I can continue eating them all season long. Now here's a mullein that reseeded. Now I'll let it there and hope that the cucumber beetles don't find it. Now the bush in back is called blue flax or wild indigo. Pretty blue-green foliage, and can you see the seed pods starting on there? They'll turn black and they look really pretty against that blue-green foliage. Wild indigo or baptisia. And that one happens to be blue. Yuccas are getting ready to bloom, but you'll see that in a couple weeks, as is the phlox and what the deer haven't eaten. But the deer just eat the tops off, and they will bloom later and shorter. So that's okay. They don't eat the whole thing. Not so far. Now if you watched my, I think, last video of my disaster, tree disaster, this is where it came down. And it broke the top of my bluebird bath. I happen to have another top. And this is the yucky spot I'm working on today, where it went down here. And I need to get in and cut back and just clean it up a bit. I have a few annuals I might put in there that I potted up. So it wasn't real bad damage. It could have been a whole lot worse. But this is where it hit, right through here, all the way across, up into the grass. So we have to work on this area. Aggressive oregano. This is ornamental oregano, and the cucumber beetles are hitting it. It's supposed to look pretty after now this sage is done. Then this should be the purple. This year we are having big trouble with the cucumber beetle. Scarlet runner bean is on that little trellis, just starting to show some color. Gloriosa daisies are giving me that gold color now, and they're just starting. Now that's a reseed too, the Gloriosa daisy, so I'll walk up closer to it. And the gold sedum is just ending up. These are the Shasta daisies. They bloom starting now and for probably about 3 weeks. I deadhead them and they keep blooming. Gloriosa daisy. Now I have a Maltese cross back there, And that is also in the likeness family. See if I can find it there. Very nice. Whoa! I left go of my zoom and it's kept going. I'm sorry, now I'm shaky. Oh well, sorry. That is an excellent butterfly plant. Just excellent. Along with all the butterfly weed I have coming up. This is native butterfly. No, not butterfly. The butterflies like it. Milkweed. It'll get a very fragrant flower on it. Right there. Like a ball. Grasses are always nice in the garden. I lost a lot of them. This one here is Carl Forrester. Oh, there's one of the milkweed that are pretty much flowering right now. Very fragrant. Monarchs love it. Another great herb in the garden is the white yarrow. I do have the yellow and a pink, but the native white is a good medicinal herb. I believe it is used to stop bleeding. I could be wrong because I'm just getting into learning about the herbs and my memory isn't so good. I have to write everything down. Allium seed heads. So my gardening friends, I'm going to stop right now. And please take care. Thank you for viewing my garden. And if you like walking the garden, please let me know. And I will do it probably in 2 more weeks. So take care and check out my website and join in www.larksperennials.com and have a good day.